Welcome
Sweet.
everyone to another Discord via animation live. This is awesome. It's been a while. Today we have Neek and Jari talking about their quill tool called Quiver. So Neek and Jari, take it away.
Sweet. How's it going, everybody? My name is Nick.
Hello.
That's Yari.
Hi.
Go ahead, Yari, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Jari. We are launching Quiver, and this is a tool that Neek is going to present you.
Thank you, Yari. What we have here today is a brand new tool for you all. It's more of a multi-tool package, to be exact. Quiver basically contains a bunch of stuff to help you work with text, pixel art, and a lot more. And you'll see exactly what that a lot more is as we go through these files. So without further ado, let me showcase some files. I'm going to pull up some folders and whatnot. So later today, right after the stream, we'll be posting a link to the itch page where you can essentially download the tool and try it out for yourself and, start trying to make things, We know that you guys are just fresh off of the Inktober run, so no pressure, no need to, post anything right away. But, for the month of November, if you want to explore with it, by all means, get comfy with it, because later on at some point we'll be making an event so that we can just kind of, try out some experiments, see what we can do with this thing, where we can break it, because that's the funnest thing about Quiver is that, like, yes, it does text, yes, it does pixels, but it can do voxels as well. And you can nest anything into those folders and layers. And the more that we experiment with it, the more we're kind of asking ourselves, what is Quill? So let's segue into that question right there. What in the world is Quiver? Oh, we know what Quill is, but we don't know what Quiver is, because this app basically can it started off as a text tool generator, right? That was the first signs here. And let me maximize this. So it started off as a text tool generator where, I just asked Yari, hey Yari, can you make me actually the true origin point was that I had told Peters and Saunders, like, hey dudes, if we go into the JSON file of a Quill scene and we, alter some of the values and, kind of copy paste some blocks of text, can we actually kind of like duplicate folders and things inside those layers? And it really only took us one test and we realized, oh, you can. Okay, so if you can generate like new geometry based off of the geometry that's already in your file, then can we do text? And at that point, I'm an artist. I don't know how to do these things. But I dabble, I know how to go into a JSON. I know code to an extent, right? I've studied it enough. I knew that we needed a coder, right? So I put out a listing in the VA channel to reach out for someone who knew JavaScript, Python. And it just so happened that Yari already knew. He's our resident coder. Like, so I asked him to put a text tool together, see if he could, kind of hack something real quick. And literally the next day, that's exactly what Yari did. Yari managed to, let me pull up an image now, because this is pretty cool. It's kind of like a little origin point of when he did that. Let me see, stream test. Right here, the YouTube material. This image right here. All right, not that one. This one. So in almost like a day, he basically made a little GUI that would take a text document and an input and output Quill, Quill scene, and you could type anything into that text document, and this is what he put out. This is basically the origin point of this tool. And once he did this, his next idea was, well, he basically rendered his face as an ASCII art, and actually it's right there, that image right there behind the Quill logo. He posted that. And I think he was just trying to down res like a high res image, but it clicked right there. That's when we realized, hold on, wait a minute. That basically means you can do pixel art, which is insane because as some of us know, Tyler especially, doing pixel art by hand in Quill is extremely, extremely tedious. So is text. So we basically like wanted to kind of unlock two different mediums that have been kind of like, it's not that we've been unable to do them. It's that it wasn't a feasible method, right? Like, when you're talking about viable pipelines and whatnot, and what makes cost sense, doing pixel art and Quill is a novelty, but it wasn't smart to do because, I might as well just go into Sprite and build it in here, right? Like there's so many tools for, I want to fill in the space, grab here, fill that in with a color. Like to do that naturally in Quill, it's just not built for that. It wasn't supported for pixel art. So we realized, wait, you don't really need Quill to do this. Just work with Sprite and figure out a method to bring the stuff in. And that's what we figured out with the tool. And once we figured that out, we were able to get images such as this inside of Quill, and that's when this happened. So we basically saw the trend. Like we got a confirmation it's possible, a little heavy, but extremely doable. And that's when we started to realize, okay, this isn't a text tool anymore. This is a special tool that can do multiple things, and we just need to. And so we stopped calling it a text tool and we started to call it it Q generates, right? And that's what we're kind of coining a lot of these tools that you'll see here. Actually, the folder's right behind all of these. Let me just minimize them. Right here. These are the tools that right now you'll be getting, right? So you've got Q fonts, Q generator, and a Q pixelizer. And these are your Quiver fonts, Quiver stuff. And
are those Quill files?
In this font folder, that's where you're going to be able to find a lot of this, a lot of these opportunities for different types of outputs. So, for example, you open up the zip, you go into your Q fonts, you're going to see these fonts right here, right? And you've got some pixel variants. You've got a Q font these are the text variants. You can see these right here. Let me open these up. Enter. Sorry, it's always going to open up on my other monitor. I gotta drag them in. But you've got this font. Let me click here. Okay, cool. This is the original font that I made to make the test. And then some other ones. You can do pixel variants. This is one that I did by hand, hand lettered, and so was Sneaky's. This one was also hand lettered, but this one was a little different. And this is probably like the most important one out of the whole set because I tried to make a font that was as small as possible. So each one of you can even see it in the letter C. It's just a ribbon stroke, just kind of like stretched out, so that it's the smallest polygons possible, so that it's a very, very small font. And that's quintessential for this tool.
Question. Mm-hmm. Is this just a reference file for us to see what the font looks like, or actually are you using this as a source at all?
No, just a reference system. Okay. Because when you plug these things into the tool, which I'll do a demo live, so you can kind of see how quick it can be.
The source will be the Quill file, right? Of course.
Right. Yeah. Right. These are all your Quill files. These are all Quill files. Okay. Yeah. And we've pre-made the font so that it works properly, like when you input into these things. And but we figured you won't really know what pine size looks like if you don't have a reference. So that's how this helps.
Right. So those reference files that you like it looks like this nice grid, right? Is that something like you generated as well, or is it something you just put together in Photoshop or something?
It's also in Quill. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jari.
No, it's in Quill.
It's like this.
Show this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like this. You can generate this like with a special camera that we put also in this file.
Look at that.
Yeah. So just before I move on to text, I just want to kind of wrap up this section where we kind of showcase every single thing that's possible, because these pixel arts, they all run off of sprite sheets, and And well, sorry, not the static ones. If you want an animated pixel piece, which is how I did that little character that I called Glint. Glint is running off of our sprite sheet, which is kind of similar to what pixel art animators, they use for like importing their stuff into Unity or Unreal. So that's how we're basically making these animations. And let me show some of Yari's stuff too, because Yari's stuff is crazy. Yeah. So noise maps, all possible with the fact that each letter. So if I'm going to pause it real quick so you can kind of see, it's a little fuzzy. I apologize for that. But essentially, to help this make sense, this is all text, right? We're just, the tool is printing out text, but instead of a font that you drew inside of Quill, every letter is replaced with a cube, right? And so it's a colored cube and they're set at different heights. So if you put a sprite sheet through our tool, then you can have essentially an animated depth map. It gets pretty insane. It starts to get a little extraterrestrial when we start to get into this world. So let's come back down to earth and let's start with text, because that's where this is the core of the system. So let's all start there. Now, later when you guys check out the itch page, there's going to be a YouTube playlist, and I've got a speed run in there for how fast I can do text. But I'm going to take my time in here.
Can you quickly elaborate on what an itch page is? Just because I think not everybody knows what itch is. Just like I didn't know when I talked to you.
Oh yes, okay. Itch.io. Itch.io is it's a website for hosting games, tools, plugins, add-ons, a bunch of stuff. It's like a Gumroad but for gamers, right? And and it just felt like the right place to put it there, because it's, we can host a tool. You guys can contribute to it if if this is getting you excited about people developing for Quill externally, right? If you want to see more of that, you can support the tool and get your copy from there, right? And hopefully, if the other pixel artists on that website catch this, they just so happen to be a VR enthusiast. There we go. We're opening up to different circles and different communities, to bring them into Quill.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, super exciting stuff. So without further ado, let's print our first hello world. So I have basically a bunch of folders already laid out, so we can kind of just showcase how this is going to work. So usually what I'll do is I'll have a projects folder open, and we've got a bunch of examples in there in case you want to check them out later. But I'm going to basically copy over. Let's try out our lightest one. We'll just go with the OG. And I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it into here. Then I'm going to copy it again. Great. And this is going to serve as our in and out, right? Which is going to go into here. So let me I could rename this to make it clean, but it doesn't matter for the test right now. So just want to be quick. All right, let's go find our Quiver tools. I've got a couple universes of this, so let's go to the correct universe. Okay. Oh, actually, yeah, this is, we got to go to the stream one. There we go. Okay. All right, so there's our first one, and then it's going to know where we just pulled it from, so we have to go up one, back into the copy. Do you want to replace it? Always. We're basically going to grab information from here, and we're overwriting this one. And that's very important, because you can't really write over the same document or it's just going to corrupt. So we're creating essentially like a transfer system. And then we're going to search for a text file. And these text files are hidden in the generator folder, right? And we've got 3. These 3 are basically built, and let's pull them up. This is the generator. This is where this tool came out of. This tool right here came out of the generator folder, the Q generator, and there's these sample files. So let me just open one, for example. These are all the characters that we support right here. So we can basically support a bunch of Western Latin languages just with the tool set by having these characters included. And for the future, if you want to know, you can replace these characters with your own, say you write in Japanese or, different, dialect, like, just different languages in general. Like, you can replace the characters for your keyboard characters, but it's a little bit of a hacky thing because you have to go into the JSON to replace them. But that'll be a later video. You'll see it on the YouTube playlist. But anywho, you've got this text below, and this is going to just kind of tell us that the text is working. You always have the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog to make sure that your text is, how's it reading? Like, what's the spacing looking like? Do you have to shift anything? We'll see how that looks. So we'll actually use this example file. But the core files are these. Bam, core file, close, and then the GB one over here. It's just a different orientation for Game Boy, and I'll get into that at some point. Anywho, so let's load in that example file. And now it's going to look for a Q font that is embedded in the input. There's our Sneakies font. If I click the Analyze Q font set, you don't have to when you're doing your projects, if you're confident that the font's working. But if we click it, it's just going to know what letters are supported inside of that file. And then these alignment options are basically the default ones. It's going to print everything on the grid so that it's like 1, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, where 1 and 2 are units on the x-axis, right? So it's just this is how like pixel art is even like laid out perfectly, mathematically correct.
So before you generate,
Sorry, no, it's okay. It's okay.
So the basically the import text file, could you just replace that whole thing with just a paragraph or something, or do you always need like the list of fonts at the top?
Absolutely.
If you go back to that file, I
can say new right now and say, hey, virtual animation community. Sorry, I should have capitalized that.
And that would work.
And that would work, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so your stories, if you've got a VR comic that you've been wanting to write up, but you knew hand lettering was going to be problematic, you can do this. There's line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, any orientation that you want.
And then you can just basically copy it and move it wherever you want inside Quill.
Exactly. And because it's going to print out as Quill geometry with your own Quill geometry, that means you can animate your own text too. So yeah, sky's the limit on this stuff. So, all right. So now I'm going to go into Quill.
So this already saved over, by generate, it already saved over the second file.
Yes, it's already done it. And if we make a change, we can keep pressing generate. And I'll show an example of that. So I've got Quill active. Y'all can see me in here, right?
Yep.
Sweet. Okay. Let's go over to the, let's see, we want to go over to user, Quill, tools, stream, bam. Oh, hold on. Stream test, projects, copy, open. All right. So default, nothing, because preferably turned off, because if you generate like 36,000 pages of text, it's going to get really heavy, and you're going to see why right now. So I'm going to turn it on, and bam, there it is.
Wow.
Instant print. Isn't that incredible? It's just and then you can make live changes. I'm here. Here's a good example of like, oh, okay, it did not work in some regard, right? And we left this. I purposely left this in the example file. Thank you. About huge kudos to Jari, because he's made this. He's refined this system so that this many characters could work, when this in and of itself is extremely bizarre in how it's working. And let's actually check that out right now. I'll cover this later. No worries. So originally the font default starts off like this, right? This is your Q font. This is my font name right here. There's all the letters. And when you get past a certain point, you're going to realize that some characters aren't showing up, right? Some are. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but if I try to type in them right now, where is it? It's nowhere to be found, right? And that's because Quill can recognize these characters. They've just, the keyboard wasn't built for that, right? But you can type that into the JSON. And that's how we finesse this, is that we set up a pre-made folder where the labels were essentially, we told the JSON, find folders that are named at when the user types at in the text file. And then when it sees where your A is in the script, in your text document, it'll grab this A and then put it in the slot that it should be at. That's at the basic level.
So basically, the layer names, some of the names you wouldn't be able to retype in Quill, right? Because the characters don't exist in the keyboard.
Exactly. This is all code. This is all through code. So
is there a folder for each letter? So is it safe to assume that there's like thousands of, like hundreds of folders nested under the Q font, right?
I guess 100, right? Yeah. I kind of forgot the count.
I think 182.
182. Supporting
letters.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. And so now you're starting to understand, like, when it starts to print this out, this is kind of an issue, right? Because it's printing out, and these are kind of like the positional data, right? It's printing every single letter out as both a group and a layer, right? Which is a lot. If we look here, 403 draw calls, kind of a problem. So what we always do when we start the like, as soon as you print it, this is my best practice. You start off at the top. Everything's all turned off. I'm looking away from the text. I press render, and then I go to select all. It's already active right now. So I select all, move it to a new layer, and kill it. And now it's back to being smooth. There you go. No more jitters, no more nothing.
And one draw call.
The max amount of characters that you want to print out, it depends on your system. 17,000 characters is a lot. But the Office pilot script that I printed out, that was like 36 pages of text and like, how many? 33,000 characters? It was, it worked. But it was very heavy, as you'll see it in the video. It took me a bit, but you can get a giant wall of text, and that's where this thing really shines, because it's like, oh my god, imagine if you had to reform every single one of these layers by like, okay, let's put the 4 down here, line it up. Oh, I made it a little too big, kind of, my bad. All right, you see how unexact that is? The system helps you stay exact because it's perfectly gridded. So once this file is all set, there's my sneakies test. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. It's that simple as that.
How many polygons is this, for example, with the smallest
sorry, go ahead,
font? The amount of polygon. Okay, 6,000 is not that bad, huh?
Yeah, no, not at all. And if I look at the Q font, 3.1. Right.
Hey, Sneaky, we'll be able to see like a test between, like you said, like maybe a comic book where you type in one line and then another line, just so we can kind of see how you're able to take those and put them into a scene or something.
Sure thing. Yeah. I will do a fresh sentence with with a brand new text file. So let's get that text document going. Fresh text.
Because this is honestly insane, bro.
I'm glad, dude. I hope the gears are turning for everyone. Let's say, okay.
Now you have to generate subtitles for Nightmare, Gian.
No, this is so sick, dude.
Yeah, subtitles.
VR
wow,
subtitles.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
that's huge.
No, this is huge.
Spatial subtitles.
Interior, Mara blasts through Mara bedroom. Mara blasts through her own wall.
You can even do tabs.
Yeah. It'll recognize this.
Really?
What's up, nerds?
Yes, you got her down.
You have to say grow a pair.
And we're done.
Grow a pair.
Grow a pair. That's awesome. All right, here, let's get this text in, Mara. Okay. And it's as simple as this. Mara.
So you can keep the Quill file open?
Yep.
You
can
can
keep the Quill file open, but it's not a live change.
Yeah, of course
Quill
not.
doesn't
Right?
really operate like that.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
it doesn't get corrupt when you keep it open.
Nope.
You just reloaded it, right? Oh my god.
I just reloaded it. Scene intro, Mara bedroom, Mara blasted through her own wall.
Damn.
Mara, sup nerds? All right, and
That's
now
pretty fast.
right? It's really fast. That's what I was hoping that I'd be
Damn.
able to pull off in this stream, was that like making quick edits, whatever you need. All right, there's your text line. Let's do our same practice. Move to new selection, delete, bam, and now save this out as a line so that we don't go over it. Line 1, bam, and now
So
we can
basically,
keep
before you
opening.
merge and you make everything visible and you merge it down, you said you looked away is because otherwise, if it's in the frustum, it's gonna start chugging, right?
Yeah, and it's really apparent with pixel art, because pixel art's going to be
A lot
32 by 32,
Yeah.
and there's going to be like a certain amount of density that you're going to be like kind of covering in your pixel art,
Yeah.
and yeah, it gets to be a lot. So let's actually test that out. I think we can try that out. But before I move on, actually, yeah, if you guys have any questions, keep shooting them out. But I'm gonna look at the alignment options real quick.
This is amazing. I have a question. So say if you wanted to bring in a font from the internet and you wanted to swap with the font that you were using, how difficult is that?
Yeah, so
Like say like a Wild West font or,
yeah, so
like a themed font.
essentially the problem, the current state of the tool is built best for like if you wanted to retranslate an existing one, you unfortunately have to build it by hand first, but there is a process for that, and there's tools in the folders to help you take your hand lettered fonts, nest it into a template, and then turn it into a Q font. So you can turn one into a font, but you have to capture it. You have to kind of like use quill strokes to build it. For us to finesse that process, it would take a lot of like image analysis, and then also using the stroke geometry to like redo a perfect T with sans serif and stuff. You get what I mean? Like for those shapes to be captured, you would need to kind of finesse stroke data and geometry. So for us to import an existing text, the easiest ones are pixel ones, because it's
Easiest
just
font,
image
you mean, right?
analysis. I'm sorry?
Easiest font, you mean, not easiest.
The easiest
Yeah,
fonts, font types to do is a pixelized version, because the Pixel's art system is so like refined right now. So that's the only caveat there. But I mean, we're also looking into the Cuban and how to manipulate the Cuban. So it might be possible in the future. I'll talk about that like when I'm talking about like what's next at the end of the stream. But yeah, it's more on that later. But yeah,
but if Sneaky, if we have our own fonts that we've already created, and we can use those, you're saying?
yes, yeah.
Okay,
If you
okay.
already made one in Quill A through Z, maybe
Right.
you didn't add any numbers. You don't need the numbers. You can just line it up all the way from A to Z, pop it into the Q font, and there you go. You can start writing.
Okay, cool. Because I think I've got like 4 other fonts, but they don't have the numbers. I don't believe so. That's good to know.
Right.
Because the other thing
Right.
that I notice is that if you want to do any colorization or, sometimes you need a certain amount of polygons if you want like a certain type of gradient or whatnot.
Right. Yeah. It's yeah, I get what you mean. Right. Like this font right here is built for optimization purposes only. Like I wanted a extremely light font. So if I color this right now, just grab all these. Oops. If I colorize these, show the color. All right. And then show the wireframe. These are not going to colorize that well. Say if I grab some red, right? They'll kind of work. There's
Well,
enough
go to
geo,
the L.
but you can see
Go
how
to
they
an
kind
L.
of like.
If you go to an L or I.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one right there. Yeah.
There you go.
Or
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it works like for this plane. There's a nice smooth gradient there, but yeah, it's just built for that. But if you want geometry, you can still have a a high-res text if you want to. You know, it's just about like how much are you putting it into your scene, right? Like you don't want to blow up your scene, right? Right. That's all the consideration is. But
It's great. It's awesome.
yeah.
Thank
Hell
you.
yeah. No problem, no problem. So what I wanted to talk about here now is that I basically made a live edit in the generator tool that lets me mess with alignment, right? So I just double spaced it, and then I can do other funky things like let's push it out in the Y, let's give it like a 1, and let's generate again, and let's open it up. Yeah, live changes, bunch of different things. Cool. All right, powered it back up, and there you go. So you can get, mess around with those options. There's a lot there. You can reverse a text, center it. There's still a lot that can be added to this tool to make it a very strong text tool, like variable width, right? Because right now you're noticing this is kind of like a uniform spacing. So if you want to, let's say, reduce the tracking a little bit, we'll set this one to 0.75. Cool. Right, and it will mess with the tracking. It will look nicer, but it's not going to be perfect, obviously, right? Like, and that's really
open
obvious.
Quill, we don't see your Quill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, jumping in and out of Quill so many times, I forget. Okay, there we go, and we're back. Yeah, so I reduced it to 0.75. Looks a lot cleaner, a lot more hugged. Yeah, and then. But look at this A. It's a little out there. This is a better spot to be in, right? Like if you've got that graphic designer brain where you just want everything to look, like, okay, all right, well, this is a little high. Let's bring this down. Maybe you might go into the Q font, original Q font, and be like, my M's are just in general a little too high. Let's just go back into that Q font, bring them down. I'll make that change over there, right? That's the kind of stuff that you can do. Make little edits, but this is better than reforming all the words all by hand. But there you go.
And on the in the Q font file are the fonts in the 0, position on top of each other, right?
Yes. And we could actually open up another one right now. Let's do. I can show. Actually, let me show a template because this is how these things start off as. Okay, so. Say you had you've got a font already and you want to nest it into the template, you would essentially have your font like on a new layer up here. Sorry, let me grab my window. Cool. Okay. So your font's there. You've got, let me draw a couple. Whoops. I don't know what I just changed the opacity to. That's fine. And are we in that layer? Great. Let's say, you had an A over here, right? A, B, C, D, E. You can slot them in, get them nice and lined up. If you want to like look for some like typography guides, for your like baselines, your bold, descenders, serifs, you can work that into the file. Highly welcome it. And I think I used a ribbon brush, so it's a little thick. Yeah, you might, best practice, you want to use as flat as possible, lightweight. But yeah, it could be a thick font too. It doesn't matter. Like it's
future community text library.
Yeah, that's actually what we're hoping for. Is that like we can build up a library so that anybody can do and handle any project that you want to take care of, right? So that's our wishes. That's our wishes right there. But yeah. So once you've plopped them in, this helper allows you to essentially navigate. So because we got to pull this into the font system. And you see how many characters there are. So like, oh, I want to grab this E and put it all the way in that folder over there. That's a mess. So that's what these little helpers are for, right? Because no matter which one you click, it'll show you like, it won't render what the character is, but you'll know that you're selecting the Ash or the Brazilian. Well, actually, I don't know what that C is called, but I know this is N with the my little N right here.
Accent circonflexe in French.
Huh?
Accent circonflexe, I think.
There you go. There you
maybe
go.
that no, I think that's the triangle top. Like, never mind. I think I mixed it up.
The
Accent aigu?
Yeah, that might be.
Gotcha. Yeah. So if you need to find these things, they're not rendering, this will help you find it. And so to nest it into the folder, I'm just selecting this little lip right there and punching it in. Because it's selecting the layer, it's letting me select this one, but it's not changing the selection of that layer. So I can pretty much, without looking, just kind of like punch it in. Let me bring this down a little bit. Go down the line. Punch it in. Punch it in. Punch it in. Punch it in. And in like 10 minutes, could be faster if you're, like if you've got the gamer energy in you. But after you do all that, then it's ready. You press play. Snaps right to all of them snap to the beginning. We still have your original font still active, so we got to hide it. But there you go. Now all the letters are in there. And they're also expanded. So you can edit the font and then prep it up so that it's ready to go. And
wait,
So in order for it to be ready, oh, sorry, go ahead, Goro.
I was just wondering what you just did. So basically, by selecting these help objects, you go into that folder, right? But were you copying, like pasting the letters into the folders, or what did you just?
Yes.
But
yes. Yeah.
But how you kept hitting paste, but doesn't it paste the same letter into?
No, because I'm essentially switching down the line. Like I'm.
Oh, you were switching.
Selecting this first.
Yeah.
And then the letter.
Oh, you were.
And then I'm moving down the line. Yeah. And these squares are all the different folders. So it's automatically.
So you were basically selecting always but you can do it with one selection stroke. You can select the square and the E, or do you have to do two selections, or just
one fell swoop? So
like
still
that.
holding.
Yeah.
Still holding.
Okay.
Punch. So it's like a brush. It's like a brush stroke. Like select.
Interesting. So you would have to do this for every single letter that you build here, right?
Right. Because we haven't figured this out.
Yeah.
From like a coding aspect.
Yeah.
This is kind of like this is like the best template that I could devise.
And it doesn't take that long, right?
Right. So it's manageable. So, and then once you basically finish, I've got some set up keys here that basically have them all laid out perfectly on the graph with these keys on the left, and then they just snap over here. So that they snap at origin.
Yeah.
And once you're done, I would recommend saving the file as a workspace file, like blah 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 _ws for workspace, so that you can kind of return back to this point. But now let's just scrub the whole file because we're going to make a font out of it. So I'm going to delete that template that's still visible. There's a little template thing so you can kind of know which letters you're doing. I'm going to name my font my ABCs. Cool. And okay, we're going to hide these two. Kill this one. We don't need the grid. And done. Your font is ready. Save it. Oops. Save it as...
it's in 0, so the letters are in 000, right?
All of them are at 00, yeah. Text.
So you don't need to like scrub the little square helpers either? Or did that happen?
It already... Oh, did I not? You're right. Thank you. Wow, Tyler. Very, very astute. What a
Thanks,
great
Teach.
student surpasses the master. Yeah, we got to kill that. And also,
And you need
kill the...
Yeah, the keys, yeah. The first key.
My bad.
The first key and not the second key.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it like that just from out here, and I scrub
Oh,
them
it's
all
so
like that.
great, yeah.
yeah. You have to actually explain that because what Neek just did is he was with the time playhead. He was beyond the second key. So when he deletes the keys, it maintains the state of the second key.
Right.
However, if the time 9 head is in between, it wouldn't work that way. So
Right.
yeah, if
right.
it's exactly.
Exactly. So I delete it, and bam, they all resort to that. I still have select all, so it's grabbing all those squares from everything. And now there are no duplicates. It's all a clean font. And hey, what happened? Why'd you do that? Sometimes my joystick kind of undoes things for me, so that's on me. But cool.
I guess this brings up a question. Could you export an animated font?
Yes. Now
So
there you go. You're cooking. Now we're cooking with gas here, because that's exactly why a Q font is so insane. Any of these can be animated frame by frame, but you can't use transform keys, unfortunately. That's That's something I tested out literally the other day and saw that if you have a transform key on the, maybe on the layer, it's fine. But on this group, if you have transform keys still active, like the ones we had 2 seconds ago, it's going to botch the print. So make sure that you delete those and then maybe put transform keys on this, right? So you can do this and then
Do like a little up
bam.
and down movement.
I'm pretty sure.
Live test.
Oh, wait, hold on. Bam. All right. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that will animate when you print out this text.
Well, the only problem with transform keyframes, though, is that they can't be looped, right? Because otherwise you would have to basically put them in a sequence and then it doesn't go. So in this case, it's probably smarter to just do frame by frame because otherwise the animation will end, right?
Right. Girls,
Possible.
You can get tripped up when you print and then you have to bake all this down to one layer. That's why it's a little bit better to do frame by frame, right? Because at least you can bake some information. You know, say it's like say it's a phrase, right? And you've animated the phrase. At least that's not that large. You can, you know, like cap it off at a second and then bake this whole sentence that just got printed into one layer. You know, and you can do a bake, you know, like snap it off, snap your Q or the render. It's going to be in the render folder. Snap it off and right here.
I think Jari wanted to say something.
The Q generator, he picks the group, the name with the name, with letter A. Doesn't matter what inside this group A or the group B, it take it and it copy it to the right position. So you can put some keys in it or frame by frame, and you can also make another group in this group A, and it will work.
So if you put a sequence underneath, right, and you do like an up and down movement of the letter, and then you do that for ABC letters, right, like an up and down movement in a sequence loop, and then you print it, but you have to obviously make sure that the loop is exactly the same length, because otherwise when you start merging it,
you cannot. Yeah.
Okay.
On the merging,
so this is a good
at the end will be a problem. Yeah. When it's not the same looping frame. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to steamroll you guys there. But yeah, Jari, your piece. This is what have you guys seen Yari's face essentially like come out at you in that video?
Yeah.
That's what this is the font that file was built off of. Basically, letters that were animated to extend to a certain point, right? So that there's depth with the noise map that he probably used for his face.
So Jari, for this, is there a reason why you did this frame by frame versus a sequence loop?
Yeah, because I can merge it with no problem. So that's why I choose frame by frame, so I can bake it.
But if it was sequences that are exactly the same length, shouldn't you be able to also bake it, or does it just?
I never tried.
Okay.
But I think it will be work also.
Okay.
But I went with the frame by frame.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah.
This is maybe a weird question, but what if you were to replace the letters with a mouth shape for lip syncing to certain letters?
That's something that I'm cooking to recognize an audio file to see which, how do you call it in English?
Visemes.
Yeah.
Visemes. To make all the visemes into an A. And match and generate a text file and match the right frame, and so we can.
Where's the hug button? I want to hug you right now.
That's awesome, dude. Let's see. Let's find a soundbite. We only have this. Gotta be one.
Yeah, that's a hug.
Yeah.
Let's go. So it's so funny that you said that, Gian, because like we you know all those different options, like a city builder,
Right.
doing like the Visemes, all that kind of stuff. We've been kind of like wondering, is like, whoa, wait, what else can we do? It's like the more and more we keep thinking about it, the more options it opens up, and the more this tool, or this package becomes a larger package. So, I mean, that's why we called it Quiver. You got to store all your stuff inside that thing. So,
I mean, now when you talk about what Yari just said, you could also then potentially build like a music visualizer out of Quill geometry,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because
It will be the
there's
first thing that I'm going to do when
Nice.
it's work.
because a lot of the time is spent doing the hand lip syncing, and if I want to do like a 2-hour movie, this is a huge help.
Right. Yeah. It's totally doable just to, lay it out. You can lay it out on with a text file right now
Right.
by hand. It's maybe
Yeah.
also faster
Yeah.
when you lay it out. So you say, okay, I need this mouse shape that I saved on B
Yep.
on this frame, on the 5th frame. So you can write a B on the 5th letter. So
Jesus.
you know this is
yeah,
it's totally doable.
yeah. So, who's ready for pixel art?
Let's do it.
Me.
Yay.
Let's do it. All right. So so now we're going to step into the next part of the tool section, the Q pixelizer. This is what's making pixel art possible. And let's go into the science of it, because it seems like you guys are really into what makes this stuff tick. So let's run it.
Stops making sense.
Hey, just
It's-
quick
it's-
question, Neek. What
Uh-huh.
did you plan? How long the stream is going for, so people can anticipate? Was it like planned for an hour or longer?
I think that we can do we're gonna do this pixel session, and then you guys can ask your questions, and then at that point we can kill the stream. I just gotta make sure that we plug that itch page so that you guys can get your copy, and then we can. Oh, and then one more thing, we're going to. I want to do another stream, just a chill Quill and Chill casual Friday. So if you guys have any questions, you've tested it out, you want to ask me. We could do some experiments live,
Okay.
and try this thing out.
So,
But yeah,
maybe,
we'll
like-
do it probably next Friday.
Like, is it safe to say like another half an hour or a little bit longer?
Yeah, I think we could crush it in half an hour.
let's do
But that means I'm gonna go full speed on this one.
It's all right.
So-
I just wanted to make
yeah.
sure that people can anticipate how long it's going to be, so
For sure,
in
for
case
sure.
people
yeah.
have to jump.
Yeah. So 30 minutes we will cover the bread and butter, and then after that, if you guys want to just keep asking, well, I'm here for a while, so no worries. Cool. So without further ado, round 2. So we're gonna do the Q pixelizer. There's like a little language tab that you can change, and we're gonna import the stream image. So I'm going to look into my pixelizer section that is in my stream test section. Pixelizer, there's the PNG. Cool. All right, it's in. Import complete, but it's not visible. And that's important for when you start to do really, really fancy stuff, because sprite sheets, right? Sprite sheets, getting stuff like this where there's a bunch of characters, a bunch of letters and characters, and it imports that into here. It bogs down a lot, so automatically turned off. But it's a small little thing because it's our faces. So there we are, super tiny, and that's actually a really important thing to note, is that it has to be that 1-to-1 scale thing. You can't have an 8x pixel art image, because then you're just printing a bunch of strokes for no reason, right? Like, better to have your tiny pixel be what a tiny pixel is, right? So that's correct. And now we're going to generate a palette. So as you can see, there's kind of like black behind us because that's the alpha.
You can also
Sorry.
zoom in this little picture, so you could, but it's laggy. So it takes his time to make it bigger. But it's possible to make it
Yeah.
a little bit bigger.
But so the preview
yeah.
is actually the pixels that it was drawn at, or like the size?
Yes.
Okay.
All
It's
right.
tiny.
All right, so now I'm gonna put out a color palette. This is a very important part. I'm gonna just name it just faces icons, face icons. Okay. And here it is. That's our face icons, and this is the palette that comes out. So we got a lot of colors. It looks like it did a bunch, right? And we want to kind of reduce that because that's a lot. That's a lot. Like,
Hold on,
we don't want
that
to
is
put too
something
many.
that was just generated, or
Yeah, this
Okay.
was just generated from the Q
Okay.
color palette. Yeah. So that was a bunch. I don't really want to work with that. Actually, it could be a large. Nah, that's fine. So let me drag it down to, like, say, I don't know, 14 colors so that we can do it within the session. I'm gonna update the colors. Perfect. Looks pretty decent. You know, I could probably refine this better, and you can do this a lot more smoother in Sprite. You know, get your colors, your limited palettes perfect in these pixel programs. You can use Sprite. Piskel is a free one, and I'll hopefully try to talk about that in my tutorial playlist. But for now, let's just.
do you remember how many colors you actually used for this piece?
No, because I was like down resing.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
yeah, this should pretty much cover it right here.
I think
Right,
it was
so-
52.
Oh,
This the most colors that we can read is 62, and this picture had 52.
Okay.
So this is the maximum that you could generate for this image. But when you have a bigger image with more colors than 62, they will show just 62. Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you have a picture with just two colors, then you will see two with the maximum on this
okay.
bar.
Oh, I see.
Right. So now, last thing to consider is that it's probably going to print the image out with a black background because the image analyzer is going to detect alpha as, you know, if there's nothing there, black, be the last letter. And then sometimes I just have like a colored image sometimes, right? Like some of my pieces just have a little bit of color in them, right? So maybe I didn't want this blue or this gray. I can just look at the color palette that I've gotten and realize, okay, that gray is probably the gray that I don't want to include. So you can type that out here and remove it. So let's remove N, and that's it. We're done.
Whoa.
So now we just gotta export a text file. Okay.
Excellent.
To hide more letters, then you just write N and B and A. No problem. To
Without a
make
space,
more-
without a comma.
without a space, just the letters
Okay.
will
NBA.
work.
Right. Yeah. You just that, and then if you start getting into the capital letters, you can do that. But that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of like a little password. There you go. So now we've got our text file,
You guys
and now
thought
this is
of
why we
everything.
removed the alpha. Check this out. There's our face in
What?
ASCII form. Isn't that fun? It's so super cool. But this is our legend, right? This is why we're going to use a Q font with letters to print our faces out.
Jeez.
And we're going to essentially say letter I is going to be a certain color, G is going to be a certain color, A is going to be a certain color, etc. And this is also why you want to delete and have as little like space. You want to have spaces between your pixel characters because that's just less folders and layers that you're going to print out, right? And so if I were to do here, let's see. I'm doing a find and replace. I'm just going to delete all the spaces so that they smush to the left. And I'm going to select them all. And let's see what number we get to. We got 1,000. That's pretty good. That's just how I'm checking, you know, if I've got like a massive page of ASCII going on and I see that it's hitting like 33,000, that's when I'm sweating, right? So just keep that in mind, but let's just Control Z and we don't really have to even do anything else. So
Wait, so
with
when
this-
you remove the spaces, though, doesn't it mess up the...
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
it does, right?
I just closed it. Yeah, I just closed it. I didn't save it like that.
So why did you remove it in first place?
Just to check. So
How many characters
here,
you
I'll do
have,
it again. Oops. Replace all. Bam. I only did that just to check how many characters exactly
I see.
are being
Okay.
printed. Yeah.
But you have
yeah,
to
but
undo
I-
it, of course.
Yeah. Yes. And or just not save. So we're good. We only need this text file. That's not true. We also need the palette. So now let's prep up our pixel setup. So I'm gonna open up the projects folder, and we're gonna do the same thing that we did with our printing job, right? We're going to put out the gradients. You got two versions: pixel crisp, and pixel gradients. Crisp is a very like picture perfect pixel stroke, where all the edges, and the subdivisions are at the bottom, at the top of the stroke. But it kind of doesn't grab tool that well. So let's do one where we can grab tool it, right? So let's do gradients, and you can see what gradients is all about when I.
So
pop it
basically, the gradients has a bit more resolution on per pixel.
Yeah, and you'll see that right now. It's got a little bit more resolution, and you can see the color bands in there. Not as smooth as crisp, but it's different purposes, right? So let's go to projects, gradients, open. Okay. All right, and let's pop open the Q font so you can see what it looks like. There you go. That's our pixel gradient. It is a perfect one-to-one stroke that we finessed so that it's perfectly on the line. This is as it's if you can make a more perfect stroke, turn it into a Q font and send it to us. Thank you very much. But it's hard to beat this one. This is a very, very like mathematically perfect thing, so that it even overlaps just a little bit, so that there's just no seam, and it's perfect for pixel art. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pop in a palette, the palette that we just generated. So let's go to desktop, Quill, tools, go to the stream test, bam, pixelizers where we had everything, the palette, bring it in, grab that thing, reset the transform. Okay. All right. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Cool. Pop it off to the side. Okay, cool. So first we're going to go down the line. Oops. And we're going to just, this is also pretty quick. You just got to color it. And actually, Jari and I devised a system where this could be easier, where you can kind of check your work, right? Because right now, we're kind of doing this a little bit blind, right? Like, relatively, Right, you see how it's... Actually, I'm getting pretty lucky that I can see it. Before, I couldn't. And I think it's because I'm close up to it this time, so that's good to know. And then if I click C, will I see a different color? B? Yeah, okay. So I can check my work in this file. A, for some reason, looks like it went away, so let's just make sure. B, C, D, cool. Let's keep going down the line. E. Okay. F. G. Use my other controller so that I don't mess any of these up.
So logically, this Quill file has more letters than you have on the index, right?
This Quill file, yes, you're gonna have all of your pixels available, but we're only spearheading these.
So if you have the maximum of 62 colors, you would have to do this 62 times.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Another thing that I think we figured out a way where we can do it through code as well. So it's an update that we can maybe see in the future, but don't hold us to it. It's still a complicated one, that one, because that requires going through the back door a little bit. Like, we're gonna have to get into the Cuban to make sure that it works. So that we can change the colors of strokes, which would be really fast. That would be awesome. And N's not going to be rendered, but just to be nice to N, we'll color it. But there you go. There's our colors, all set, and you're done. Your palette is done. We can hide it. You can just like the workspace file, I hide the palette. I don't delete it, because sometimes you mess up, right? Human error happens. So better to just leave it as is. Let's save over it, and now in here, let's also generate our output file. This is closer to how I'm renaming my stuff, versus like leaving copy at the end of it. I'm doing like an input and an output, and we're ready. We got our input, we got our output, we got a text file. Now it's just back to text. We're just printing text. So let's go into here. Let's work with, I'm going to start off fresh because we have some alignment options. I just want the default. So let's go back up, go to that generator, grab the generator file, grab it, turn this thing on. And yeah, just thinking ahead. Okay, cool. So, all right, let's find these files, projects, the gradients, grab that cube, that JSON, grab the output, replace it, always, import the text file. Sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, but I guess I'm just trying to, like, you know, show the mega speed.
Yeah. I like how you
pixelizer.
increase the speed. You started slow and now you're faster, so
Yeah,
easier
yeah,
to
yeah.
follow for sure.
Great. And generate. I didn't have to press Q font. I could have just pressed generate. But there we go. We're ready. Let's check out. Let's see what we baked.
Man.
All right. Go over to here. Oh, open. All right. Not going to show. We're going to look off to the left. And we're going to turn it on. It's going to get a little slow. Not too slow, hopefully. Move to new layer. Make sure that, that pretty much told me that we did it right. And we're done.
Wow. Holy
Bam. Oh, all right. It looks like there's a slight boo boo that showed up, but that's okay.
We
Pretty
both
much
have a chin strap.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, it looks like I missed something. Here, but yeah, that's pretty much why I never delete the original. But bam, it's there.
My eye was also black, so it's now.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Transparent. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and I think did the zoom out here. There you go. All right, we're fixing it. There you go. It's Quill geometry, so we can fix that up. Okay. Okay. Now you can see why doing it the old way was tough. I would have to basically get this correct. Just
Tyler knows
it right.
all about this, huh?
Huh?
Tyler knows all about this.
Tyler knows the pain. He knows the pain. There you go. Okay, cool. So it's Quill Geo. You can paint it. Give it a little sunshine.
Color dodge it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Get that dodge.
Look at that.
Wow.
That's like Miklad's hair color on mine.
Yeah, it's glorious. It's like if we're playing those like special shadered games in like Hyperlight. There's a bunch out there like what's Dead Cell, a lot of this stuff. All right, yeah, and I'm just doing pixel art, guys. Don't mind me. I'm just having fun now.
So you have to create the pixel art first in order to then create the pixel art in Quill.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, right. And the apps that the app I'm personally using is Sprite, and I'm also using another program that's on Steam called Pixel Over. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I like to do. I've kind of started to do the system where I do Quill first, bring it into those Pixel programs, and then retranslate them into Pixel, work the animation in that I made in Quill into those programs, make the sprite sheet, and pop them in. And that's actually how we did.
Quiver logo.
Yes.
Quiver
that's exactly how I did it. Yes, sir. And let me go back in time to my set projects. I think it was in the script section. Glint. Where'd you go, Glint? He's somewhere.
At the top.
He went somewhere. I don't know. I guess I pulled him out somewhere. I just don't remember where. Pine size those.
I think you put it also in the example folder.
Oh, that's where it went. True. Thank you, Yari. Thank you. Projects, examples, Glint run, bam. And there you go. So I had mmade this guy in Quill Geo, so you could fight. Nah, I wanted it to fight a boss, so I didn't get that far. But you know, we were starting it off.
And that's 2 frames, or no?
Just about close enough. Yeah, like I think it's like
Five, I think.
like there's like 3 frames per leg of the
Okay.
run cycle. Yeah, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, with transform keys.
Ah.
Yeah. So he's got a little bit of that bounce in him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you exported these as PNGs and imported them into the pixel art tool, or?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Like I've got a few pipelines built for that. I sometimes use Blender to get the image sequence. Sometimes, I mean, Goro mentioned it at some point. If you were to make a recording, a GIF even of this, really quick, done, and you save that, you can import GIFs into Piskel, and Piskel will make sprite sheets. So
Wow.
that's possible. Yeah. But I like to use Sprite because I'm a little bit more familiar with that tool.
But you could
but
also have
yeah.
a PNG sequence, right? So where you can set a camera, like, or does it
Yes.
have to be a GIF or GIF?
PNG sequences are great for Sprite.
Okay.
You don't quote me on this because the last time I tried to use Quill to set it up, I had to finesse it a little bit. But I think theoretically, as long as you have an image sequence, you can cull the alpha in the settings, right? So you can do that. But the important thing is getting your sprite sheet done, right?
Yeah,
And,
because I'm asking because if you want to export, you want the camera to be static, right? And the only way to export a sequence is either a movie or a PNG sequence with this.
Right.
Like you can't have GIF in this option, right? So
Right, and that was the other problem, was that GIF is the only thing that you can do by
handheld.
hand.
Yeah.
Right, you can do GIF by hand, but you can't do it through this cam. So PNG is kind of like the only
Okay.
thing that you can get from this.
But then you just re-export that as a GIF then.
That's true.
You could.
Which you can, yeah, that's true. And there's like a website for that too. Like you can import an image sequence and it'll GIFify your thing in case you wanted to go over to Piskel. Because again, Piskel is free. And there's like a website version, there's a desktop version. Yeah. Highly recommend Sprite though. Like if you want to like toss a few bucks to that thing, it'll be worth your time to go into this route if you care about this route.
So you suggest
and,
Sprite?
Highly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good
But
app. And I
to
don't
understand
think there's
this-
a better pixel program, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when you want to do pixel, but in theory, I could just put one of my 2D speed paints like in through this, right? It just like creates gajillions of pixels, but you could put any photo, anything as an input file, right?
Exactly. And let's load up one of Yari's pieces because Yari is an absolute a wizard. Like, I think is it the QPQ, the cube?
No, it's the Wackelwürfel.
Fucking
Okay, yes.
nice.
There you go. All right, this one. So yes, this is a good example of like where Yari isn't. It's not like he's like doing super refined pixel art. He's just he's analyzing the image. It'll come up with like kind of like anti-aliasing for the edge
Oh my
and stuff.
God.
But that's fine. It's still gonna render pretty nicely. But check the setup that he did. This is I'm pretty sure
Oh
it's
my God.
basically the pixel
Oh, that's
just
how it was done.
rotated, and then the other one is just rotated the other way.
Yeah.
The secret is finally revealed.
I was like, is it this directional brush or what's going on here? But
No,
it's
no,
just
not.
an optical
I thought
illusion.
so too.
Yeah, it's an
I
optical
thought
Yeah.
so too, but no, this is not the directional brush. This is it's
Well, it's basically
Two pictures by 30 degrees, yeah.
yeah, it's basically what you recreated what the kids' toys, right? Like where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had
Right.
this ripple. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I grew up
there's
with those
actually-
toys.
Did you do that by hand, Yari? Did you fix?
Yeah, I made one pixel, rotated by 30 degrees,
Oh.
and and transform it a half pixel to the left, and then I make a second font for the second image, rotate it back 30 degrees. So I could import those two images, into one.
So it's two
I created
alphabets
this.
basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
Isn't that nuts? This is
Yeah.
fucking crazy. I'm sorry.
So are you reaching the, like for this example, Yari, for this one that he's showing right now, is this about like 62 colors?
It's 100 of 100 colors. I think.
Are you
think
maxing
it was
out on
12.
colors? Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think it was 12 or maybe no. It's. I need to look on the file, but I think it's 22.
So when you
what's the
say
optimization
the color limit is 62, is
Yeah.
there a reason why you reduced it to like 12 colors? Is it like getting really slow if you have like 62 colors because it's like a lot of pixels? Or?
Yeah, I reduced the colors because it's time consuming to recolor every pixel by hand. When I recolor 62 color pixels, it takes time. You can do it, but I choose just 22 on this example.
Oh, recolor meaning creating that alphabet is annoying,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's take time. You can take your time for that, but
it's just tedious.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's open up these other ones so you can check out some more examples.
Could you also show us the optimization too in it? I just want to see like the draw.
This
column.
is also
Whoa.
something I created in Quill with a brush in Quill, and make those gradients to make a depth map to bring some depth in it, and
So is the fuzziness coming from the anti-alias pixels? So it's actually like solid pixels in Quill, but it looks like lower quality JPEG because of the colorization, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Right.
Right. It's
reduced-
like
So you're making
Quill-made
low res.
anti-aliasing.
You're making low res in an high res environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That's funny. Kleiner
Yeah.
Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Small planet.
Now this one is just in GIMP, the image tool. That's for
Photoshop
free.
Linux.
Yeah, you have something that called Kleiner Planet. It's
It's like a fractal? Or?
No, it's when you have an image, then it's dragging all like a 360 degrees image. You can
Like pretend
Make
this
something
was a
like this.
2D
Oh, I
image,
see. Yeah.
right?
yeah
Pretend it was a 2D image. Since the font is essentially recognizing that there's a band of blue, the letter, this letter is essentially just a tall pixel.
right.
It has an offset ingrained in the pixel.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm just turning this
Right,
off.
yeah.
So, oh God. Okay. Right. Yeah. It's like, let's say this was A, this was B, this was
Yeah.
C, D, E, F, G, and that's how it does depth, right? And mine's somewhere in here. It's in my old files, but yeah, you get some pretty.
And
nifty
the
little
color,
things.
the color palette. This is
Oh, this
going from white to black, and from
Mm.
when you generate those color palettes.
Oh wait, we saw this.
When you go in the pixelizer, when you extract the color palette, then you have your color palette laid out. A will be white and Z will be black. That's
Goro,
how it is.
what time are we hitting?
You have 10 minutes left if you want to stay within the half-hour mark.
Nice. Cool.
10 more minutes.
That means we're kind of in a good spot because we covered a lot of it. The only thing that I didn't get into depth on is a lot of the extra little tools that are in there. I figured that the stream wouldn't be long enough to really go over everything, but
Can we do a part 2 potentially?
we could, yeah, that would actually be pretty great.
Yeah, I think that would be good because this is a lot of information to process anyway. I think it was just
Yeah,
the right
it is,
amount,
isn't
I think. Yeah, if you're willing to do another part 2, then that would be perfect.
You can change the background color on this specific thing. When you change the background color to show it, it will be better.
That's awesome. Yeah, here, let's do this one. Trippy.
Yeah, look from the side. You can see it's coming out of.
Look at that.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's what
Some
the
weird
nightmare
voxel
to do
action.
manually.
So you're just animating each letter.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
the
Misty.
sample file there? Just to see, curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah. They are in here. There's some that I have on my stash that I didn't put in yet, but I can toss them in as well. I'm just like kind of like opening them up to check them out. These are kind of like this. I think this was like my first one that I sent Jari, where I was like, "We got it.
Oh,
We
that's
got
cool.
animated stuff."
Again, low
You just
res
gotta
and
do-
high res.
Right.
It's funny.
Yeah. And then the little Quill icon would be the Quiver icon would be there. Something like that.
This is amazing.
Then, yeah, I'm so glad you guys are gelling with it and vibing. It's super fun to try out, fun to experiment with, and I mean, text-based stuff, pixel art. I'm
How
just
did
really
you
glad
create this
that
one,
like
Sneaky?
this tool is opening it up for those mediums in general, like especially text. That one I've been talking about it. Like Pete, ask Saunders, ask our whole team, anybody who's talked to me. I have probably mentioned it at some point that text is one of those things where it's like, if it was easier to do, and you didn't know how to animate, right? Like you didn't know how to do walk cycles, you didn't know how to, you didn't have access to voice actors, you don't have a studio budget. What's the next best thing that you have to your person, right? Like, you know, for telling a story, right? You can draw something static, right? Draw something static, make a text box, and write stuff, right? That is like bare bones storytelling, right? And it's interesting that like Pixel's one thing. Pixels is, you know, it's quote unquote niche, but text, that's like a super universal thing that's in literally so much stuff. So getting this unlocked was really, really important to me because I wanted to, like, you know, I don't know, just open up Quill in a completely new way. So I'm really glad. I gotta thank Jari for this. I gotta thank the group that, you know, came together in, like, you know, when I tried to kind of find coders out there like that came together to just talk about the stuff. Thank you so much for, like, you know, working with me on this idea. This is like, honestly, this is Christmas to me. Like, I hope you guys like it as much as I do. This thing is, it's fucking awesome. I am so happy. I'm so happy.
So there was
Like,
a question.
how did you-
Yeah, how you made this.
Yeah, could you just go through this one specifically, how you went about creating this?
Yeah. Well, we do have a few moments left, so I can go at it from like an quick overview perspective. But this is essentially a sprite sheet, right? And that's the one thing I didn't cover all the way. Now, I mean, I did talk about it when I looked at Glint, but let's take a look at another example sprite sheet from none other than Tyler. So this was one of the original things that well, this is actually when we figured out that we could do pixel art. I asked Tyler, it's like, Tyler, send Jari your GIF. We need it. We need it for ultimate testing, right? And that was, I think, the first animated thing that we made with the tool. You know, we said, let there be light. It was very, yeah.
So was
very,
this actually animated in Quill this way by hand, or is this already an interpretation of what a Quill flame looked like?
This is the text tool. No, sorry, this was what was the text tool back then. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But I think, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. Did you already animate this at some point by hand?
He left.
Oh, okay. I think he's done animations with his system, his pixel system before. Getting this many frames is a challenge for sure. Like it's easier to do in Sprite and all that and all those other programs. But essentially you're plugging this entire sprite image into here, into this part, right? And when you put this in, you're gonna get like the long image, you're gonna export your color palette. It's going to be celled like that. And when we print it, you're gonna look in Quill and it's gonna be a big line of campfire images, right? Then what you need to do is just perfectly shift it up one. Like you would, let's say this is origin right here. This is your first pixelized image, right? Then you slide it up one, right? And then with transform keys, and then you slide it up again, and then you slide it up again, so that it's kind of like a flip book, but you're just passing a strip upwards.
So for this one,
like
you
just
can't do what you showed, how to zero out the fonts. For this one, you would manually have to eyeball it and move it up, or?
So no, that's another Quiver tool that I've embedded to help make that easier. So if you had, say, something like this, or if you had something like this, I have embedded a Q font helper. Let me check the Q fonts. So in the folder, you'll see these little helper tools down here. That's inside the Q font folder, and that's where the custom font template is. That's where the GB template is. There's a text cam, so you can take your photos of your font right after you print it. But also, in the animated helpers folder, this is what's going to make sprite sheets way easier for you. It's going to animate the position.
Stop you there,
Yeah.
but I think I want to just to be mindful of people's times, and also because I have to jump in a few minutes. What do you think?
Did we finish?
I want to. Yeah, we're reaching the half an hour mark. I have about like 15 minutes left here before I have to go on baby duty. But
You're good, man. You're good.
because I'm recording here, I want to make sure that the recording is like complete. But I wonder if that could be the second class, like deep diving into how to work with sprite sheets and stuff like that, because it sounds like that's another skill set that you need.
It is.
That, right?
Yes.
Like that not many people here have, I believe. Like I certainly don't know, like I've never created sprite sheets, So maybe getting into the helper projects and stuff like that could be the deep dive for the next class, because I think at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I feel like there was enough information to process for now, because if you take it a step further, I think people's brains gonna explode. So I think
they're hungry, Goro.
I think it would be good to digest what you showed until now. And I feel this is a really good cutoff point. I'm sorry, Gian, but I think it makes sense to make a cut here and then do the second
worries,
class.
Man. Yeah.
Just for like if anybody else has like more like simpler questions that don't go too deep into like how to create stuff, then let's do like a quick Q&A. But I have to jump in 15 minutes, so I just wanted to make sure we get the complete stream.
If we have fonts to attribute, what do we do?
Fonts to attribute.
Just if I've got a couple fonts that I want to, put forth for people to use, where do I?
Yeah. So first steps first, and actually this is a good segue to getting to the end of the video. Let me go ahead and press publish on the itch page. Let me link it in the chat. If you want to find it, it is called Quiver. If you search for it on itch, you will find it, and there you're going to find tutorials that is going to rehash every single thing that I talked about. And I'm going to go into making a custom font with your own existing stuff further. And I just kind of like take my time with it. So if you want to really learn how to do every single step, Sprite Sheets is already a video. So it's going to be an unlisted video. Apologies. That video, the videos are they're in a rough draft form. Let's put it that way, right? Like they are very crunchy and not super edited, but you're going to learn everything that you want to learn. Just hold out for new videos. But yeah, in that video, you'll be able to find out how to bring in your own hand lettered stuff, nest it into the folders, make your own font, and be able to print, submit, and contribute. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Let me go to the page.
It's funny when you search for Quiver, there's actually a lot of results.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
That's funny. All right, well then a link is gonna help with that. That's good. All right, draft.
Lots of
Let me
Quiver
press the
posts.
publish button. Public. Anybody can view the page. Save. All right, and I think we're live. Published. All right, and let me grab that link. And let me put it in the chat.
I see it.
And no way, did it show up just now?
Yeah, when you search it, you see that you see your
Awesome.
thumbnail. Yeah.
Let's go. Right to the top. Perfect. There you go, everyone. So the zip is down there. The link to the YouTube tutorials is at the bottom of the page. Let me actually just put this into my screen. I don't know if Gory you're still seeing.
Yep.
This is the page right here. You've got your videos. You've got a little info text to tell you what it's all about. Some examples. Join the Discord community for virtual animation. If you Quill, if you want to find others at Quill that do it passionately and just love using this app, join us here, learn more, and download your file right there. You've got the instructions here. Simply just download, check out the tutorials, write a comment if you need help, reach out to us, and that would officially be the cap. And now,
Awesome.
Thank
So quickly, you guys put this out for free, right? Like, how can we support? Is there like a donation thing or setup or?
Yeah. Automatically, when you press the download button, you're gonna see thanks for downloading. Right now, I got it set up. Okay, so it looks like it's downloading it automatically. I got to reset up so that it asks for a donation first. So that because it usually does that. Like when you press download, it'll do the it'll say, oh, here's a suggested price, and then it'll say, no, take me to the downloads. Let me set that up real quick. But ultimately, and I'll do that off stream. But
All right.
the you can download. There'll be a little support page, and then you can contribute something if you are so inclined and you want to support our time. Thank you so
And
much.
is it working for anybody else on the itch page?
I was able to download it right away. Yeah, I hit download and it downloaded it straight out
Okay.
without any prompt.
Price 0. Oh, I think I figured out how to do it. Minimum price 0, suggested price, and I'm gonna press save, and that should perfect. Oh wait.
It's still downloading.
Okay, yeah, it's like 0. Someone downloading your project. Oh no, it should work. Okay, yeah. When you guys press download, it should say like suggested price, right?
For me, it still keeps downloading. I downloaded it 3 times now, but maybe I had to refresh my browser. Let me just refresh.
Strange.
Still downloading.
Yeah. If anything, we can sort this out after the stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I
we're
need to
hanging
say
now.
thank you, Neek, for all your work. You did so many things on this that it worked this stream, and so great to work with you. I loved it, and I love it.
Hell yeah,
Awesome.
man.
Thank you
Nice.
for all
Yeah,
your work.
awesome. Thanks,
Good, brother.
Thanks for doing the stream, and amazing tool, you guys, that you came up with. Pretty crazy stuff. I think there's a lot to learn from this too, and how to use it and stuff like this. This was definitely like a huge breath of fresh air, and I'm glad that we got one of our Saturday streams back. So this was super fun, and let's talk about part 2, because I think this definitely deserves a part 2. And whether it's like next week or whenever it works for you, Neek and Jari, just let me know, and then we're gonna set that up. But
Sounds
this is
good.
super exciting. And then once people are like, more fluent in the tool, that's when we can, think about a community challenge or something like that, right? I hope
yeah.
you guys enjoyed the stream. I certainly did. And keep an eye out for part 2. And thank you, Neek, and thanks, Jari, for running the stream today. It was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye
Have a good
bye.
day.
Bye bye.